Professor Namgyu Park here. So thank you, Namgyu, for being here, as well as Professor Michael Gretzel, who was kind enough to swap the talk with Tom Miyasaka. So he'll give the third talk. And maybe with this, so we have now a little bit of time, we can immediately transition to Namgyu Park, also one of the first to work on these perovskite materials. Namgyu, please.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'd like to share. Oh, you have the active?
Yes, I give you the right.
Okay.
So
right.
Thank you also for having been part of every single ViperCon so far.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear this one?
Very good, I see it. Yes, first slide, photovoltaics at the multi-terawatt scale.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
And thank you, actually, Michael, again, inviting me to this online conference. Before getting my talk, before get started my talk, I'd like to emphasize some future market size of the photovoltaics. I'd like to use some. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, this is better. So we are here actually year 2022. We reached the accumulated photovoltaic installation. It's about 1 terawatt. And then the market size of the 1 terawatt is corresponding to $315 billion US. And then by the projection to 2050, because of the net zero plan, we have to reach about the 75 terawatts. Then the market size will be huge, around the 24
Recording
trillion
in progress.
USD. Then we need probably the silicon solar cell cannot cover this kind of the huge the market and installation capacity. So actually we need some higher efficiency the solar cell like the perovskite, the silicon tandem structure. Now this structure reached the efficiency of the over 34%, approaching 34% efficiency. So then I'd like to introduce briefly the discovery and progress of the perovskite solar cell again. This is the first the real solid-state perovskite solar cell that we reported in 2012. And I'd like to give very briefly how we discovered this kind of solid-state perovskite solar cell. And then I was invited to the Sengalen conference that was held in 2007 in Switzerland. And fortunately, Professor Michael Gretzel invited me to give a talk about the dye-sensitized solar cell. At that time, Tom Miyasaka gave a talk about the perovskite sensitized solar cell, but at that time the efficiency was as low as about the 2 to 3% efficiency. However, this spectrum, the external quantum efficiency spectral shape is looks like quite the ideal shape, except for the absolute value. So if you increase the absolute value of the external quantum efficiency, we may get higher performance. And then coming back from the Sengalen conference, we prepared the methylaminum lead bromide and iodide, and then we deposited this material on the plain glass substrate, and then tested with some high polar solvent like the acetonitrile, and which dissolved quickly those kind of the perovskite material. And then we modify the less polar solvent such as the ethyl acetate, and then we keep this the film for less than 30 minutes. And then we modify the precursor solution, and then actually the super saturation concentration of about 40%. Then we can get we could get highly reproducible the perovskite film. And then we achieved the 6.5% efficiency. But as I mentioned that there is some problem, dissolution problem of the methylammonium lead halide perovskite in the presence of liquid electrolyte. Then we have to switch this liquid electrolyte with solid hole conducting material. Then we introduced the spiral compound into the mesoporous titanium oxide, and then we achieved 6% efficiency for the first trial. However, when we increase the film thickness, the efficiency cannot be altered. Therefore, we re-examined, actually revisit the absorption coefficient of the perovskite, which is 1 or 2 orders of magnitude higher than the absorption coefficient of conventional ruthenium complex organic dye. Then, based on the Beer-Lambert law, you don't have to increase the film thickness because of the high absorption coefficient. Then we decreased the film thickness up to 1 micrometer, and then we achieved the higher efficiency because of the higher open circuit voltage. And further, we decreased the titanium oxide film thickness up to 0.6 micrometer, and then the gradual increase in power conversion efficiency was observed because of the increased open circuit voltage and fill factor without sacrificing short circuit photocurrent density. And then this is the first solid-state perovskite solar cell that we completed in 2012. And then we also show the pretty much stable configuration of these devices up to 500 hours. This is encapsulated device stability. And then finally, we reported this solid-state perovskite solar cell in the scientific reports. Now the paper cited a lot. And then this is actually the first report on stable, high-efficiency solid-state perovskite solar cell. And now, based upon this solid-state perovskite solar cell discovery, and now from the single junction, perovskite solar cell achieved the certified efficiency of 26.1%. Now the 26.5% was certified. I was told from somebody, and then this efficiency is really the same as the silicon single junction solar cell. And furthermore, if you put the perovskite on the silicon bottom cell, then the certified efficiency of the 33.9% was achieved, which is highest so far, the highest efficiency among the dual junction solar cell structure. Also, recently the perovskite CIGS tandem solar cell achieved the 24.2% efficiency from the German institute, and then which is actually because the CIGS is thin film solar cell technology. Therefore, those kind of the perovskite CIGS solar cell is beneficial for the flexible applications. And then according to the MIT Technology Review, they actually selected the super efficient solar cell based upon the perovskite silicon tandem structure, including which was included in 10 breakthrough technologies in this year. And then MIT Technology Review expect that those kind of super high efficiency, the perovskite silicon tandem solar cell will appear in the market in 3 to 5 years. And then the player will be those kind of the companies, including one of the Korean companies, Hanwha Q-Cells. Let me move on the future research directions. We can achieve the higher efficiency, and then most important thing is that actually well, I like to use a lace point, robust stability here. And then according to previous report, the perovskite surface does not give us some homogeneous photocurrent. And then it depends on probably when you measure the photocurrent AFM, then you can find out some from the conventional perovskite solar cell film. Then there is some high photocurrent density, high photocurrent, and there is low photocurrent. So which was motivated us to develop some probably first set dependent photocurrent density. So then we prepared the crystal facet enhanced perovskite film using the piperidine additive. The above is this is the conventional method, and you cannot figure out some distinct crystal facet. But using this kind of the piperidine additive, we can produce the 100 and 111 crystal facet. And then interestingly, from the photocurrent AFM measurement, we found that the 100 is highest photocurrent density photocurrent, and then also the 111 crystal facet shows the high photocurrent density close to the 100 the crystal facet. However, 110 crystal facet shows pretty much low photocurrent photocurrent. Therefore, you have to avoid to produce the 110 crystal facet the facing toward the sunlight. And then why the 100 and 111 crystal facet shows the high photocurrent. Then based upon the some energy dissipation rate, and we calculated the exciton generation rate, and then we found that the exciton generation rate is highly larger for the 100 crystal facet than the 111 crystal facet. And then eventually we observed the higher efficiency from the 100, 111 enhanced crystal facet. And also we prepared 110 enhanced crystal facet film, which shows the pretty much lower the conversion efficiency, as I mentioned earlier. And then in addition, we also found that the light soaking stability is improved from this the specific crystal facet. And then also we were interested in the moisture stability depending on crystal facet. And then because there is some surface size difference and also some polarity difference depending on the crystal facet. And interestingly, we found that the 100 crystal facet is pretty much weak against the moisture intrude. However, 111 crystal facet is quite stable under moisture condition. And then this is due to the some delta phase formation of this 111 crystal facet under moisture condition. And then the local struct XPS and the XUP study confirmed that the some degradation product is related to delta phase. And then by calculation, also we found that with the time, actually, the 100 crystal facet is seems to be quite stable than the 100 crystal facet. And then because we know that the 100 crystal facet is quite stable under the moisture condition, then we also like to make the 100 enhanced dominant crystal facet dominant the perovskite film. In that case, we use some different kind of the additive cyclohexyl amine, and then we could get over 98% 100 dominant the perovskite film. And then we proved that the moisture stability of this kind of the 100 the dominant perovskite films. And then after making the perovskite film, probably people would like to passivate the surface of the perovskite film. Then people use the octyl-ammonium, the bromide or iodide, the material. And then we found that interestingly, this kind of material is only adsorbed on the 100 crystal facet, and the 100 is pretty much the repel those kind of it's kind of repellent, act as a repellent of the 100 crystal facet. For this kind of octyl-ammonium, the passivation material. And then we changed the pentyl ammonium iodide. Also, people are using this kind of material frequently as a passivation the purpose. However, we found that there is some different the adsorption depending on this crystal facet. So we actually investigated various kind of the material here, with including some the cyclohexyl and the pi electron, and also anion, and also some the neutral molecule. And then finally we we made the conclusion that the 1,1,1,0 crystal facet is highly sensitive to amine acetic acid group, and also some the cations such as ammonium cation. The 1,1,1 crystal facet is relatively insensitive, however, can bond with electron-rich pentyl group or the organic anions. And then based upon our result, we designed the new the passivation material that is called ADP2 amidino pyridine hydroiodide. The crystal structure, the molecular structure looks like this one. And then this structure, if you take a look at this structure, and it has the some enhanced pi electron. This is good for the 1,1,1 the crystal facet passivation. And ammonium, there is ammonium cation, which is beneficial for the 1,0,0 crystal facet passivation. And then there is we included a ring nitrogen. This is for the the passivation of the undercoordinated lead ion. By using this the ADP material, after passivation with this material, we found that the surface was the evenly homogeneously passivated regardless of the crystal facet. And then eventually we get the higher efficiency using ADP passivation technology. And then again we show the pretty much stable the perovskite solar cell based upon ADP passivated the perovskite film. And then let me move on some commercialization issue. And then we have to focus on the stability, especially thermal stability is very important. Also, the light stability nowadays, light stability becomes the important issue. And we currently use the spiral compound as the HCl material for the NIP structure. Then because of the low glass transient temperature, then the thermal stability is not good. Then we have to synthesize the HCl30A. This molecular structure looks like this one. And then this shows the higher the glass transient temperature, even including in the presence of the lithium TFSI and the TBP additive. And then we observe the very good thermal stability at 85 degrees C for the 1,000 some aging tester. Also, recently the higher glass transient temperature STM of the nanographene, the structure looks like this one, was developed, and then actually if you use this material without some interface layer, then the efficiency or the initial efficiency is okay, but with the time the efficiency drops a lot. Therefore, we use this interlayer. The crystal structures looks like the nanographene, and then we found that the MPP tracking shows very stable output of this perovskite solar cell. And then we also proved that the 85 degrees C stability of using this nanographene material. But we are interested in a spiral compound because spiral compound always deliver the better efficiency than the other developed or reported all conducting materials. Therefore, we would like to investigate, find out some what is the origin of the thermal instability of using the perovskite. Then we found that in the spiral film, we found that still there is TBP remained in this spiral compound film. And then we found that the TBP is the killer for this the thermal stability issue. Then we after making this spiral compound, we degas the TBP, and then we found that there is almost no TBP remained left in this spiral compound, and then found that the quite stable at the high temperature, 85 degrees C. but the efficiency is a little bit lower after TPP degassing. So this is issue to be addressed. And then recently also we found that the interface of this NIP structure interface, for instance, we used the SNO2 layer and then perovskite, FA-based perovskite film. And then we found that this interface is pretty much weak. Then why this the interface is weak? And we detached this the interface detached of this perovskite from the tin oxide. And then found that some of the perovskite is still on the tin oxide layer. And then interestingly, we found that the work function of the perovskite is somewhere around the 4.23 electron volt. And then after operation, the surface this surface is corresponding to perovskite surface. Perovskite surface, the work function is changed. Therefore, we call it, this is the surface A is called the some mobility interface with the homojunction. And then to solve this kind of issue, we introduced some interlayer. This is the silane group, and then the acetonitrile group, which is a functional group, heading toward the FAPBI3, the bottom surface. And then we found that by using this kind of the interlayer, then the work function is almost not changed, was not changed. And then by using this kind of the work function tuning technology, we actually improve the stability significantly. This is light stability, the photo stability, the MPP tracking using MPP tracking. However, the reference the cell is pretty much unstable under illumination. And then I like to move on some device structure. The NIP structure is regarded as some stable configuration, but the PIN structure is this is not the stable structure. This is high efficiency, but the stability is not good. But the PIN structure is regarded as the stable configuration, but efficiency was lower than the NIP structure so far. But recently, the PIN with the PIN structure efficiency achieved the over 26%. Here is a very interesting result. For instance, we use the FA PBI3. The single phase is very difficult to stabilize at the room temperature. But to stabilize the FA PBI3 alpha phase, we use a small amount of cesium cation. But in that case, the FA cation and cesium cation is not homogeneously distributed across the film, perovskite film. The upper, the perovskite film contains the FA rich phase, and the bottom is the cesium rich phase, and the middle is actually the homogeneous. So why this kind of the inhomogeneous distribution of the cation happens? Then this is due to the some crystallization, the phase transition, kinetics difference depending on A site cation, FA cation, and cesium cation. There is huge some difference. Therefore, this difference makes some inhomogeneous distribution of the FA cation, cesium cation. And then we introduced this additive, the penyl sulfonyl pyrrole, for short the PSP, in the precursor solution. And then using this in-situ GWAX, the spectroscopic the analysis, the study, then we found that the activation and its difference can be greatly decreased between FA and the cesium. Therefore, we can get the very homogeneous distribution of FA cation and the cesium cation across the film. And then why cesium rich is kind of the barrier, can act as a barrier for the whole transporting. Therefore, after solving this kind of the inhomogeneity, then we found that some whole transport is facilitated. One more thing that I like to mention about the precursor material, then we actually use the PBI2 and the MAI. In that case, those kind of mixture can induce some unwanted the phase or the some impurity and so on. Therefore, we actually synthesized the perovskite, the delta phase, as a precursor material using the aqueous solution. In that case, the pH control, pH is play very important role. Therefore, we found that the pH less than 1.9 is quite a good condition for making pure delta phase FAPBI3. Using this kind of the pure FAPBI3, we can get over 25.6% efficiency. And also the electron hole diffusion length is quite balanced as compared to the conventional PBI2 and FA, the precursor mixture. Finally, I'd like to mention about the lead toxicity. There is a legislation of the lead toxicity from the some WHO, FAO, CDC, and also EU. And then there is some quantity is regulated for allowing the PV content. It's very small content, but the solar PV installation, for instance, the silicon solar cell, this legislation is so far exempt, but probably will be applied in the future. Then for the case of the perovskite solar cell with 1 micrometer thick perovskite layer, and then calculation says that this is about 15 micrometer per liter. So this is a very small quantity, and think about that if the perovskite solar cell generate 2.2 actually this is 2,400 gigawatt electricity, then the perovskite solar cell requires 17,000 metric tons of the lead. This quantity is only 1.1% of the U.S. domestic market each year. So even this is a very small quantity, and is in the spectrum, within the spectrum of the legislation of the lead use. But we have to protect this lead to plus ion not to be released into the tap, for instance, tap water. Then we proposed that the immobilization of the lead technology, grain isolation, complexation, the integration, and finally the adsorption. So we propose this kind of the lead immobilization methodology. Then probably we can utilize this kind of the technology for commercialization. Finally, I'd like to summarize my talk. And first, the 2009 one paper came out from the Tom Miyashaka group, and then the next year, the paper came out because of the liquid junction perovskite solar cell is quite unstable. And then the year later, 2 years later, we also published the improved the efficiency, but still we use the liquid electrolyte in this perovskite sensitized solar cell, but only one paper came out because of the instability of this liquid junction structure. And then after the solid state perovskite solar cell publication, the actually the publication increased exponentially, and then now we reached about over 5,000 papers came out per year. However, we still need some further PCE improvement. I think the previously Michael mentioned that this material actually can exceed the gallium arsenide, reach or gallium arsenide, exceed the gallium arsenide the material because of the actually the higher the absorption coefficient property and the very good electron hole the diffusion length. And also we have to guarantee the device stability under the operation condition, light stability, moisture stability, or temperature stability. And also the whole series of the fabrication process, reproducible fabrication process should be established for mass production. I'd like to thank my student and also the some collaborators from the EU and also the Japan and also the this is very important, the funding the agent. Thank you.
Thank you, Namgyo, on behalf of the audience for this great talk. Very impressive progress. So, of course, there are many questions, as always. Maybe we can go through them a little bit. So there's one by Bidisha Nath, for example, and he's saying, thank you, Professor Namgyo Park. Usually the XRD of MAPI shows a 110 peak. Did you see also a 111 peak as the most prominent peak in the XRD when changing to the amino cation? Does this crystallographic orientation also affect the band-to-band recombination?
Well, the MAPI case, we did not examine the crystal facet. We showed in this presentation is FA-based perovskite material. Yeah. And then the other question is,
does the crystallographic orientation affect the band-to-band recombination?
I don't think that the band-to-band recombination, because even though we show we have different kind of the crystal facet, the band gap is actually the same. The band gap means that actually, well, this is the ordered crystal structure. Therefore, probably we cannot say that some specific crystal facet has the specific band. Therefore, this is the average band structure. So even though we don't have we have some different kind of the crystal facet, the band gap and band structure seems to be the same. Yeah, well, I'm not quite sure, but I have to study actually. Yeah.
No, this is important. I mean, it's not an easy question. So there's another question by Ruggiero Sala saying again, thank you. May you comment on the possibility to guide the perovskite crystallization towards highly faceted orientation?
Oh yeah, this is a very good question. So I show that we actually developed the specific crystal facet enhanced perovskite film using additive engineering. In that case, we considered actually so far this is our but not 100% the guarantee or the correct. But as far as we know that we actually use the hydrogen bonding between the hydrogen and iodide. Then if you take a close look at the different crystal plane, or for instance 111 or 100 crystal facet, then different the iodide. For instance, 100 crystal facet, you can see that the some surface iodide, only iodide. So we use the monohydrogen as additive. And then to create 111 crystal facet, we found that there is two important iodide exposed on the surface. That is the some outmost iodide and the breaching iodide. Therefore, we would like to introduce two hydrogen additive. This is a cyclohexyl amine. So we can make the we can regulate the 111. But you know, this is a kind of the some different kind of the surface energy and chemical hydrogen bonding nature, but probably there is some other factors involved in crystallization. But we have to find out some other the parameters.
Oh, this is interesting. So the additive engineering may be more relevant for the crystallization.
Yes.
So maybe last question. So by Max Grzesiak again from HZB. Again, thank you, Professor Park. In addition to thermally stable charge transport layer, do we need all inorganic perovskites for long-term stability against high temperatures? That's an interesting one.
That's very good. Very good question. So that is probably a very robust solution to guarantee the thermal stability. And so actually we are working also. Then we don't the concern about some device structure, NIP, PIN, whatever. For the NIP structure, we can use the tin oxide as ETL, and then the nickel oxide, we can use nickel oxide as HTL. In that case, probably the coating process is very critical. Nickel oxide coating on the surface of the perovskite layer, maybe the bottleneck or the very critical for the to get the high efficiency, because we have to achieve the high efficiency from this kind of the inorganic HTL or charge transport layer. Then we tested the NIP structure using the tin oxide and nickel oxide, and then deposition of nickel oxide is very difficult, and then the efficiency is lower than the 20%. So if we develop a high efficiency using those kind of inorganic charge transport layer, then we don't worry about the thermal stability. Yes, this is very good direction. Yeah.
And all inorganic perovskites, do you think they have a place as well?
All inorganic perovskite, I think the cesium is not good choice. Well, I think we still use the FA or the organic cation. This is very important because this kind of the dipole produced by organic cation can affect the polaron, meaning that the exton, the electron or the hole interaction with the phonon, then that can make the large polaron, which is very good for the well, I'm not a physicist, but it seems to be good for the high open circuit voltage and the long charge scalar lifetime.
Okay, thank you. This is very interesting. So very new direction as well.